Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, the activities of Maharaj Agnidra. Text number 21. Agnidra sutaste matur anugrahadautpattike naiva samhanana balopeta pitra vibhakta atmatulya namani yatha bhagam jambudvipa varshani bubujuhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because of drinking the breast milk of their mother, the 9 sons of Agnidra naturally had strong, well-built bodies. Their father gave them each a kingdom in a different part of Jambudvipa. The kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Thus the sons of Agnidra ruled the kingdoms they received from their father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Acharyas specifically mention that in this verse, the words Matuhu Anugrahat, by the mercy of their mother, refer to the breast milk of their mother. In India, it is a common belief that if a baby is fed his mother's milk for at least 6 months, his body will be very strong. Besides that, it is mentioned herein that all the sons of Agnidra were endowed with the nature of their mother. Bhagavad Gita 1.40 also declares, Strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankara. When women are polluted, varna sankara, unqualified children are generated, and when the varna sankara population increases, the entire world becomes hellish. Therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a woman needs a great deal of protection in order to remain pure and chaste, so that her children can be fully engaged for the benefit of human society. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So we are reading towards the end of this chapter about Maharaj Agnidra and his sons. And in today's verse it says, Agnidra's sons, by the mercy of their mother. And Prabhupada has translated that mercy in the form of the breast milk of the mother. They were strong, they had strong bodies. Agnidra suthas te matur anugrahat. Matu anugrahat. Here that anugraha is in the form of the breast milk. Autpattike naiva samhanana balopetaha. Samhanana, their body was balopetaha, strong, because of matur anugrahat. And with that strong bodies, pitra vibhakta, the father had divided the kingdom and given the names Atma Tulya Namani, given different names according to their sons, Yatha Bhagam, Jambudvipa Varshani Bubujuhu. And in this way they ruled over those different parts of the kingdom. Because of drinking the breast milk of their mother, Matur Anugrahat, the 9 sons of Agnidra naturally had strong, well-built bodies, had naturally outpattikena, balopetaha, had strong, well-built bodies, samhanana, balopetaha. Their father gave them each a kingdom, pitra vibhakta. Their father gave them each a kingdom in a different part of Jambudvipa. Yatha bhagam Jambudvipa varshani yatha bhagam. The kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Atmatulya namani yatha bhagam Jambudvipa varshani. Thus the sons of Agnidra, Agnidra Sutaha, ruled the kingdoms they received, Bubujuhu, from their father, Pitra Vibhakta. Yatha bhagam Jambudvipa varshani Bubujuhu, and they ruled over. So here Prabhupada is giving an indication that whenever we have to understand the Shastras, we have to take the help of the Acharya's commentaries. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand. Sanskrit is a language. The words have varieties of meanings, and in which context what meaning has to be taken, how it has to be understood, requires the guidance of the Acharyas. Otherwise, we will be misdirected. Here it says, Agnidra Suthaste Maturanugrahat. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, one of the commentators, famous commentators on the Bhagavatam, which Srila Prabhupada always referred, he says that this Maturanugrahat refers to the breast milk given by the mothers. And who was their mother? Purvachitti, an Apsara from the heavenly world. So you can imagine Purvachitti's breast milk drunk by the 9 sons, and how they became balopetaha. They became very, very strong. So, in this way, they were strong-bodied, and just like the mother, they were strong. The mother was celestial woman, not an ordinary human being. And so these sons who were born on earth, they also had those wonderful qualities from the mother passed on through her breast milk. And here Prabhupada has quoted that how Strishu Dushtasu Varshneya Jayate Varna Sankaraha. This is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. Dushtasu Strishu, when women are polluted. Dushtasu Strishu Jayate Varna Sankaraha. Varna Sankara are born. This is in the first chapter of the Gita. The context is Arjuna is giving different reasons why he should not fight. So he says that if I fight, if this battle happens, all the soldiers will be killed on our side and on the side of Duryodhana. And so when the soldiers are killed, what will happen to their wives at home? They will not have the protection of the husband. And when they are not protected, when so many women are there without the husband, then there is a big possibility there will be aggressive men who will commit adultery and create this kind of an activity. And because of such adultery, there will be children born, and the child born without a proper father and a mother married in a sanctified marriage. And what direction the children will get? Such children will not be protected by the father, and hence they will be misled. And when they are misled, they will indulge in sinful activities. And such children born without the right kind of a protection of the father and the mother, who is not able to give the protection, that population is called Varna Sankara. And Varna Sankara basically means they have no direction and they indulge in sinful activities, and because of sins There will be so much suffering in the world, and Arjuna is saying, I will be the cause. Because this whole battle has been arranged for us to win the kingdom. So for the sake of our kingdom, this battle is happening, and finally what will happen? There will be Varna Sankara, and because of that there will be so much suffering, and I am the cause of that. So like this, very sensitively Arjuna gives the different reasons why the battle should not happen. In that context, Arjuna says, Strishu dushtasu varshneya, referring to Krishna, jayate varna sankaraha. And here in this purport, Prabhupada has nicely mentioned, therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a woman needs a great deal of protection. This is Vedic culture. Why? In order to remain pure and chaste. So there is protection for the woman so that she remains pure and chaste. So what's the benefit? So that her children can be fully engaged for the benefit of human society. So she will have children who will benefit human society and not harm human society. So this is the thinking about why a woman has to be protected. And another occasion, this was a very heated topic even in the 1970s when Prabhupada was talking about women's protection. In the Western countries where women were agitating that they should get equal rights and freedom and to do what they want and so on. Those kind of ideas were there. So when many times Prabhupada had to confront these ideas. And then on one occasion Prabhupada explains a little more clearly. It is not, they are protected does not mean they don't have independence. So Prabhupada gives an example of a protectorate. There is an arrangement all over the world, even in the United States, even in India it was there till recently, maybe a few places are still there. When there is a big country and there are small islands and small countries around that, those countries have an arrangement with the big country called a protectorate arrangement. A protectorate arrangement means the big city takes the responsibility to protect the small country. The big country takes the responsibility to protect the small country. The small country, their resources are limited, their population is limited. So they can't be having a big army to protect themselves. So they make an arrangement with the big country. And the big country makes an arrangement and says, you are my protectorate, does not mean that country cannot have its own internal independent affairs. The country is allowed to have its own election, have its own way of governance, and at the same time it is protected by the bigger country. There is a difference between a protectorate arrangement and a colonization arrangement. In a colonization, they come and take over the kingdom. Like the Britishers came and took over India, and they started ruling India. And they started making decision who should be ruling. The policies of the country were decided by them. And they would collect taxes and take it away from. The local Indians did not have any say. This is colonization. Protectorate is not colonization. Protectorate respects the independence of that nation. So this is the kind of an arrangement that the Vedic literatures talk about. Not that women have no independence. They cannot decide what they want to do. So there has been in history, in our country too, that this understanding of protection by men, they thought that we have to protect men means I have to be oppressive of them. I should control them so much that they have no freedom at all. So this is an abuse or a misunderstanding of the real relationship that a woman is supposed to have in the role of a woman in the human society. So this is the kind of an insight that we get by carefully reading Srila Prabhupada's teachings. So here we see that Purva Chitti was well protected, and she had these wonderful children, and she made them very strong, and they were going to rule next. I'll read the next two verses also, with which we come to the end of the chapter. Text 22. I'll read the translation. After Purva Chitti's departure, so we read that how Purva Chitti was there for the children to grow up to a certain point, and then she vanished. She went back to the heavenly kingdom from where she had come. And what happened to Agnidra? That is described here. After Purva Chitti's departure, King Agnidra, his lusty desires not at all satisfied, always thought of her. Agnidro Rajaha Atrupta Kamanam Apsarasam Eva Anudinam Adhi Manyamanaha. Anudinam Adhimanyamanaha. Exceedingly thought of her. So you can see. And thought of her. Therefore, in accordance with the Vedic injunctions, the king, after his death, was promoted to the same planet as his celestial wife. That planet, which is called Pitruloka, is where the Pitas, the forefathers, live in great delight. Agnidra Rajaha Atrupta Kamanam Apsarasam Eva Anudinam Adhi Manyamanaha Tasyaha Salokatam Shrutivihi, according to the Vedas, Avarundha. He got Yatra Pitaraha Madayante. In that planet where Pitaraha, Pitrus, Madayante, they delight. Pitruloka is one of the heavenly planets. And so she had gone there, and Agnidra also went there. Purport. If one always thinks of something, he certainly gets a body, related body after death. Maharaj Agnidra was always thinking of Pitruloka, the place where his wife had returned. Therefore, after his death, he achieved that same planet, probably to live with her again. Bhagavad Gita also says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. We can naturally conclude that if we always think of Krishna or become fully Krishna conscious, we can be promoted to the planet of Goloka Vrindavana, where Krishna eternally lives. Text 23. After the departure of their father, the 9 brothers married the 9 daughters of Meru, named Meru Devi, Pratirupa, Ugradamshri, Latha, Ramya, Shyama, Nari, Bhadra, and Devavithi. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Activities of Maharaj Agnidra. So here, what is to be noted importantly is Agnidro Raja Atrupta Kamanam Apsarasam Evanudinam Adhimanyamanaha. So you can imagine Agnidra, not so, you cannot compare the fortunate position Agnidra had. He was a powerful king, He had inherited from his father big kingdom, and he had a celestial Apsara as his wife, and lived for thousands and thousands of years. What more? But at the end of all that, atripta kamana, his still kama was not satisfied. That is the nature of kama. So Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, he describes kama as the eternal enemy of the living entity. So let's read this verse. Avritam gnanametena gnanino nityavairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha dushpurena analena cha dushpurena purana means to become satisfied. Dushpurena can never become satisfied, and analena cha, this kama is like anala. Anala is bhumirapo analo vayuhu. Anala means fire. And it is like a insatiably burning fire in the heart of a living entity. And what does this fire of kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha, and what does it do? Avritam gnanametena, it covers gnanam, the pure consciousness. Prabhupada translates here gnanam as pure consciousness, because the soul has pure consciousness, and part of that consciousness, pure consciousness, is the understanding that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I have a relation with Krishna, and I must serve in that particular relation with Krishna. And in this way, when I am serving and pleasing Krishna, I will be happy. This is the correct understanding. But this understanding, avritam gnanametena. You see? Avritam gnanametena gnanino nityavairina. Gnaninaha. Here again, gnaninaha normally means a learned person, jnani, but here Prabhupada translates gnaninaha means the knower. The conscious, the spirit soul, who is the knower. He is enlightened naturally. But that natural enlightenment gets avritam, gets covered over. It is not lost, but it is covered over. Just like there is a light bulb, and if it is covered with dust, the light is still there, but it cannot come out, or little light comes out, some feeble, faint light comes out, because it's covered up. And so that is why in our Prabhupada explains this, the living entity is untouched, asangena. The Vedic literatures describe that the living entity is untouched, meaning its true knowledge is untouched, but it is covered. And covered by what? This lust, kama rupena kaunteya. It is the desire of the living entity to enjoy. That is why Prabhupada explains the original love of Krishna is transformed into lust. And with proper association, with proper direction, that lust which has become, which is degrading the soul, can be purified, and the original love of Krishna can be awakened. So this is the whole process that's happening in Krishna consciousness. That attraction that we are having in the material world for enjoyment is cleansed, and then the attraction remains, but not for the material world, but for Krishna. This is in the material world, that famous statement of Srila Prabhupada's letter. In this material world, there is attraction between man and woman. This is the sum and substance of material world. In the spiritual world, there is attraction between the living entity and the Lord. And that attraction drives everyone. Just like in the material world, the attraction between a man and woman drives everyone. They work very hard to earn money, to have their homes and have nice children, nice families to enjoy with them. That's what is driving everyone to work hard. That attraction. But in the spiritual world, it's not the material attraction between man and woman, but it is the attraction between Krishna and the living entities and the devotees. So the principle of attraction exists because it's the principle of attraction. You're being drawn to something. Imagine you're not drawn to something, nothing you're drawn to. You become a stone. So spiritual life is not about becoming a stone. The element of attraction, being drawn, exists, but being drawn to Krishna, not to some material concept, some material idea of a beauty which anyway fades and withers away. So this is what is happening, and so Krishna is saying this kama Nityavairina is the eternal enemy. Gnanino Nityavairina, the enlightened soul, the pure consciousness of the soul, the knower, his enemy. And the nature of this kama is that dushpurena. You just like Agnidra got Purva Chitti. We read how much he was so bewildered. She was so captivating in her beauty because she was an apsara. And he lived with her for thousands and thousands of years. And atrupta kamana. And after she went away, eva anudhinam adhimanyamanaha. Anudhinam adhimanyamana. Exceedingly he was thinking of her, and so he was so broken hearted. And so when someone is exceedingly thinking of Purva Chitti like that, Agnidra's case, and he died, and by good fortune, Shruti Bihi, according to the direction of the Vedic literatures, he went back also to Pitruloka. And Prabhupada is saying, probably to live with her. So maybe did not live with her also. So like this, this is the nature of kama, dushpurena analena cha. And Bhagavatam in Prahalad Maharaj's prayers also, he says, trupyanti neha krupana bahu dukkha bhajam. The nature of yan maitunadi gruhamedi sukham hi tucham. Kanduya nena karayoriva dukkha dukkam. Trupyanti neha. Prahalad also says the same thing, that this yan maitunadi sukham, gruhamedi sukham hi tucham. This a materialistic householder tries to enjoy this material enjoyment is kanduya nena karayoriva dukkha. It is like an itching sensation. When you have an itching problem in your body, and then when you itch, when you scratch, it gives a lot of pleasure. You feel so good. And then afterwards you see you have created a big mess. It's going to become big problem. And then it's going to spread more. And bahu dukkha bhajam. This is what kanduya nena karayoriva dukkha bhajam. Dukkha, bahu dukkha bhajam. This is what happens. Trupyanti neha. And this itching is never satisfied. You feel like itching more and more. That is the nature. It is this kama, sense desire, sense gratification, has a addictive nature. We seek that again and again and again. That is the problem. Trupyanti, it can never be satisfied. And so, what is the solution? Prahalad says, Trupyanti neha krupana bahu dukkha bhajam kandutivan manasijam vishaheta dhiraha. So, Prahalad Maharaj's conclusion, recommendation is that this kandutivan, this itching sensation is there, The doctors say the same thing. When you're feeling that itching sensation, just tolerate. Don't scratch, don't indulge. Vishahetha. Vishahetha means to tolerate. Don't give into it, don't indulge in it. Just tolerate. Manasijam, it is all in the mind. And when you tolerate, you become a dhira. Dhira means a sober, enlightened person. So this is Chaitanya Prahalad Maharaj's recommendation. And in Narottam Das Thakur's another wonderful prayer, he also says something very similar. Samsara vishanale divanishi hiya jwale juraite na koinu upai. He is lamenting. Samsara visha anale. Now Narottam Das Thakur has given another dimension to this fire. It's not just a fire, it's a poisonous fire. Just see how acharyas are just warning us that how we should be careful with this kama. Samsara vishanale divanishihi ajwale. And day and night it's burning in my heart. Because this is what happens, right? As a conditioned soul, day and night we are propelled by different desires. I must enjoy, I must enjoy, I must enjoy. And that's how our behavior, everything will get influenced by that desire that I must enjoy. And juraite na koinu upai. And I have received the human form of life, Manushya Janma Paya, Radha Krishna na bhajiya, and Janiya Shunya Vishakhainu. And I did not find a solution to how to extinguish this fire which is burning in the heart. Day and night it is burning. So this is how the acharyas are warning. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says there is a way to put out this fire. The fire which is the eternal enemy of the living entity. The fire which covers up, which burns in the heart and gives unlimited suffering to the living entity, can be put out. And what is that? How to put that out? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto dharpanamarjanam bhava mahadhavagni nirvapanam. Bhava mahadhavagni. The blazing fire of material existence, nirvapanam, can be put up, extinguished. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the first Shikshashtaka, he is describing the various effects of chanting the holy names of Krishna. This is what happens when you chant the names of Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. He's saying all glories to this chanting of the holy names of the Lord of Krishna, because these are the effects, and one of the effects is Cheto Dharpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadhavagni Nirvapanam, to extinguish the fire. So the advantage of extinguishing the fire, in fact, Bhagavatam also teaches this. When we have put out the fire in the heart, at that time, that stage is called liberated stage. And in that liberated stage, one can properly chant the holy names of Krishna. That is why Bhagavatam says, Nivrutta tarshair upagiyamana. Trishna means the fire in the heart. The blazing fire in the heart is called Trishna. Because of the blazing fire in the heart, it creates Trishna. Trishna means hankering. So that's why we are hankering in this material world. And Nivrutta Tarshnai. Nivrutta Trishna means who has become freed from Trishna. So we should aspire to come to that stage of Nivrutta Tarshair Upagiyamanat. In that stage we can chant. So Prabhupada explains there are 3 stages of chanting. One is the offensive stage, when we are committing all kinds of offenses. And what is the solution for that? We should continue chanting. And when we continue chanting, we'll come to the stage when Nivritta Trishna happens, and at that time we are liberated. In that liberated stage, one can chant offenselessly. And when one chants offenselessly in that liberated stage, one comes to the stage of Prema Maya chanting, when one is imbued with love. So, offensive, freedom from offense, liberated stage, and then continue to chant, one will chant with pure love. So, these are the three stages of advancement of chanting that the Shastras talk about. So, we see in these instructions in the Bhagavatam is giving the example of King Agnidra, that how he was atrupta kamanam apsarasam evanudinam adhimanyamanaha tasyaha salokatam shrutibhir avarundha. And so he also went to the same planet. So we'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.